Hey guys, here's a nice little flow for you to open up the chest, ease off some tension, and just to relax and get into your day. Let's get started. So you will need a blanket of any kind that you have, or alternatively, you could roll up your mat a little bit because we're going to open up the chest first. So I'll take my blanket. I'm going to use a blanket. Take my blanket, spread it out. I'm just going to take a moment to roll that out into a nice little tube. Okay, and I'm just going to take that so that I can place it just right underneath my shoulder blades. You can just lengthen the legs out. Take the palms to face up. That's going to help you to open up those deeper postural muscles in the chest. And I just want you to lay out here and just take a few breaths, maybe just noticing where your breath is sitting right now. And begin to ease off the tension by allowing the backs of the shoulders just to settle down into the mat. And to soften your face as well. As you breathe in, allow your rib cage to expand to the sides. You may even want to take your hands and just place them on your rib cage just to feel how that is actually moving. So when you inhale, you should feel your rib cage kind of pressing into your hands softly. Just feel that expansion, and then just on your exhale, just allowing everything to fall away naturally. So what we're starting to do is open up the chest, and also just to kind of start to create a little bit of mobility in the mid-spine or your thoracic spine. Doesn't have to be much, just a little gentle arch you'll feel there. You can even allow your feet to just fall off to the sides. Take 2 more breaths. In through the nose and out through the nose. But just allowing yourself to hear that ocean sound in the back of the throat as you breathe out as well. So just a little closing off of the back of the throat on your exhale. Feel a little bit of pulling back of the belly just to support your lower back. Draw the knees in and then just allow them to fall off to the right-hand side. Your left shoulder can follow. And I just want you to pick yourself up just enough to pull your blanket away because you don't need that now. And gently onto your back again. Keeping the knees bent, we're going to take the knees off again together off to the right side. Now we're getting a little bit more of the twist in the middle spine. Getting a little stretch in the chest and in the shoulders. You can even take your gaze away from the direction of the knees to just get a little bit of stretch in the neck as well. Feel free to close your eyes. And just feel that little support of the belly by just drawing in a little bit through the waist. Inhale, bring the knees back up. And exhale to the other side. So again, you can take your gaze to the opposite side for that additional stretch. Now if it's too much in the neck, always listen to your body. That's one thing you always want to do. So if it's a little too much, there's a little bit too much strain there, then just keep your gaze upward. That's fine too. But the palms stay up. And we're still focusing on that expansion through the ribs. One more breath. On your inhale, knees come back up. We're going to take both legs out. And this time on your breath in, draw your right knee in towards your chest. So here too, there might be a little bit of tension here or a little limitation because of your flexibility in your hamstring. So maybe just clasp underneath the thigh as opposed to grabbing onto the shin. If you feel more comfortable to do that, that's okay, but a little less is this option. So we're just going to draw in the knee towards the chest. Feel a soft lengthening of the back of your neck and a little support in the belly as well. This is your wind relieving pose, a really nice option to ease some tension in the lower back. So if you're feeling that, this is a really nice option. Inhale to release, and on your exhale, bring it through again. So I'm just taking the deeper option here just to show you the difference. And on your next breath in, allow both legs to meet up at the front. Cross at the ankles, and we're just going to take one little spinal roll up to the top. So again, you can grab the shins or grab under the thighs and just roll through. And we're going to come through into tabletop position. We'll just take a breath here. You can either leave the tops of the feet flat on the floor or you can curl the toes under. But what you want to do is make sure that you're setting up. Your wrist is going to be just situated right underneath in straight line underneath the shoulders. And same thing with the knees. The knees are just going to line up under the hips. We're going to make some space between the shoulders and the ears. So just take the shoulder blades back. And we're going to go into our cat-cow just to warm up the spine a little bit more and also to warm up the internal body. So on your inhale, lift the chest. Feel like you're lifting your tailbone up and take your gaze upward as well. Shoulders come back, arms stay straight. And then on your exhale, press the floor away. Allow the head to drop with gravity. And feel like you're rounding your back. So this is your cat pose. Following the rhythm of your breath or the flow of your breath, take an inhale for cow. And exhale. Utilizing that breath again of that in and out through the nose. So that's that ujjayi breath that allows you to release some tension and stress from the body. A breath in here, and let it go here. On your next breath in, we'll come back to a neutral position, so just a flat or a long spine. We're going to take the tops of the feet down if they're not already. Take the knees as wide as your mat and allow your big toes to touch. You can sit your hips back. We're coming into child's pose. Now this may not be as accessible as well, so you may find that you're not able to push all the way back. So you can take an option of taking your blanket and maybe placing that just between the calf and the thigh muscles there, and maybe coming back and resting here. If that's still too much, then maybe a block, or maybe 2 blocks, whatever you need. So maybe that's all the height you can get, and that's totally fine. But we want to rest here a little bit and also feel a stretch through the back, through your lats. Okay, the large muscles on your back, on the outside of your back there. We're also lengthening, or imagine lengthening the skin of the armpits. This is a nice little introduction to what you will feel in your downward facing dog a little later on. If you don't need the blocks, lose them. And for an additional stretch in the back, we're going to take an inhale. Lift the head up gently and take a walk over to the left-hand side first. When you walk over to the left, so imagine kind of just draping your upper body closer or on top of the thigh. And then reach the right arm just a little bit beyond the left so you can feel a nice stretch in your right side lats. So feel free to take this as long as you need it. You might find that it doesn't feel as good. It feels really good to me, but you might find that if you're tight, it doesn't feel as good. So just take as much time as you need. So it might even just be a breath or so. If you want it a little bit longer because you are enjoying it, then feel free to take a few more breaths here. Next inhale, come back up. Take a walk slowly over to the right side. This time reaching the left hand nice and long. Breath in, walk back up, and we're just going to come back into that tabletop. So again, stacking wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. We're going to tuck the toes under, feel the shoulder blades moving back down. So if you feel that you're pulling them in towards your ears, we want to make some space, so just gently pushing them back. Feel the connection with your fingertips into the mat and also the knuckles into the mat. Draw in or feel like you're pulling the belly back. And we're going to feel like we're almost pressing or pushing the mat apart as well, okay, just to turn on the muscles in the back of the shoulder. We're going to lift up slowly in the knees. Might feel like a lot of work already. And we're going to take our knees a little further away, push the hips up. If that's enough there, again, you might be limited by the flexibility in the hamstrings, the muscles in the back of the legs. So you may want to keep that nice big bend. But we want to take the chest a little closer to the thighs. So this might be all it is for you. This is your downward dog, and that might be the best that you've got today. And be content with that. That's totally fine. If you do want a little bit more, you can lengthen the legs a little bit more. Take the feet back a little further and keep the chest pulling back towards the thighs. So imagine that child's pose that we were in where we were lengthening the skin of the armpits and we were drawing them back or taking the arms long. Same thing here. Take an inhale, lift your right leg up. On your exhale, step the right foot through. Take the back knee down. Again, here there might be a little bit of discomfort, so you might find that the knee is hurting a little bit. So if you don't have a lot of support, I have a nice thick mat, which I love. Very good for the joints. But if you want a little bit more support there, feel free to take the blanket that we used and just place that underneath the knee as well. And that can give you a little bit extra support. We're going to open the chest. Take your blocks if you're finding that it's difficult, or if you're finding that you're rounding your back like this, take your blocks, any height that you need, to just open up a little bit and get some length there. Take a breath. To gain some shoulder mobility, we're just going to take the right arm and we're going to just roll the shoulder or roll the arm back, being very aware of the movement of the shoulder blade. So we're just taking 4 circles here. And 4 in the opposite direction, taking a breath in as we lift up. And exhale. You can see I'm just taking my time. No rush. Take the top arm down. You can put the blocks away or a little ahead of you. Push back into your downward dog. Inhale, left leg comes up. Step it in. So this might also be a little bit of difficulty here. So you might find that if you can't step in very close to the hands and you're a little further back, take your hand to your calf and just gently step it in. Because we want that alignment here as well of the knee just sitting comfortably over the ankle. Drop the back knee down. Take the blocks if you need them. If not, hands or fingertips are just on the mat. Chest forward, shoulders back. Breath in. And we start with the circles here. Very mindful again of that movement of the shoulder blade, just gliding around. And inhale up the other direction. This time, instead of pushing into downward dog, I'm just going to lose the blanket again. It doesn't have to be pretty. We're going to push back into plank. So plank, we're going to go into, take the knees down. So you may find here, this might even be a lot of work because it's holding your body weight. So if you feel like you need to push the hips back a little bit, feel free to do so. That's totally fine. But if you feel like you can keep the hips down, then keep them down a little bit. We don't want to sink and kind of curve and allow the lower back to really curve too much. We want to pull the belly back. So you almost feel like the crown of your head to your tailbone is like a ramp. Push the floor away. You want to hug your triceps, which are the muscles in the back of the arms. You want to hug them towards one another on both arms. Feel the space between the shoulders and the ears. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, bend the elbows, keeping them clipped in at your sides, and then allow yourself to come all the way to the belly. I'm going to move my blocks out of the way. Keep the hands by the chest. I'm going to roll my shoulders back, pull my belly back. Inhale, lift up, and just pushing a little bit of pressure into the floor with my hands for my baby cobra. Again, a nice opening for the chest. Tuck the toes under. I'm going to push back through my knees, or onto my knees, back into my downward dog. Take a breath or two if it's comfortable. Inhale, right leg comes up. Exhale, step it in. This time I'm leaving my back knee up. I'm going to inhale, open my right arm. I'm very stable through that left arm, so you can see the length in the arm here. I'm not bending or slouching in the shoulder. I'm pulling it back into the socket. Inhale for a little bit more of a chest stretch and just reach the right arm back a little further. Exhale, take it down. Downward dog. Left side up. Step in. Inhale, left side. A little bit more. Always goes on the exhale. So breath in to expand, exhale, reach back a little more. Take the hands down. Downward dog. And maybe take a break here. Take the knees all the way down. Come in for a child's pose. So we're going to take again those knees nice and wide. Big toes to touch. Push the hips back. And just take a moment to reflect a little bit even. What felt really good, maybe what was a little bit more challenging. It's really good to check in during your practice. And poses like this just allow you to just stay focused and internal. Maybe it has nothing to do with being internal and has everything to do with just catching your breath. So again, we'll bring the hips back up or bring them forward again. Take the knees in, a little closer, stack them again. We're going to move into some standing poses and just gain some foundational understanding of some alignment and also some strengthening of the legs. We're going to tuck the toes under from that tabletop position. Again, feel like you're spreading the mat apart and even pushing a little bit forward as you lift the knees and then lift the hips up. Come into your downward dog. Breath in, lifts the right leg up for three-legged dog. Step through. Remember, you can grab behind the calf to help yourself to come forward. Feel like you're standing on two tight ropes, so the feet are parallel here. You want to press down strong through the front foot. Feel like you're pulling that right hip back. We're coming into crescent lunge. We're leaving the back heel up. Feel like your belly is pulling back, and that is what lifts you up. So here we want to relax. It doesn't feel like we can, but we can. We relax the upper body. Doesn't feel like you can relax, but we stay strong in the legs and strong in the foundation, which is the bottom half of the body. And just think very soft, or much softer as we move up the body. So we leave our support by pulling the waist in, but we soften the shoulders, we soften the hands. I like to say, imagine you're holding a beach ball. It doesn't require a lot of effort between the fingers. Pull the rib cage back so that we're not popping out here. And that right hip is pulling back. And we push that back hamstring straight up to the ceiling. Imagine we're just shooting it back towards or up towards the ceiling. Exhale, take the hands down. Push back into plank. So you might be a little warmer now, so you can take the option of either taking the knees down or staying up in your high plank. So our chaturanga, again, we want to set up. So we draw the triceps in towards one another. Push the floor away. Feel the thumbs kind of pulling towards one another and shooting the collarbone forward. Keeping the arms nice and straight, we inhale, shift way onto the toes. On the exhale, bend the elbows, keeping them clipped into the sides, and then all the way down to the belly. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, baby cobra. Tuck the toes under, brace the belly, push back, downward dog. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, crescent lunge, press down, inhale up. On your exhale, let the arms fall. You're gonna lace the fingers behind you. So you just wanna grab hold, hopefully, maybe, being able to bring the base of the palms to touch. If they don't, that's okay. Our goal here is just to feel a nice opening in the chest and shoulders, pulling again the ribs back, strong in the foundation in the legs. Take a breath. We're gonna spin the right or the back heel down now. So on my breath out, I'm just gonna just gently release my hands, spin the back heel down. So my toes are almost facing towards the middle part of the long side of my mat, but my heel is going towards the back corner of the opposite side. I'm just going to heel toe, or toe heel, I started with my toe. Just taking a walk with that front foot so that my front heel lines up with the arch of my foot. Again, I want that alignment where that knee is sitting comfortably over the ankle. If it's a little behind, totally fine. We're coming into reverse warrior here. So the left arm travels down the back leg, right arm lifts up. I rotate my hand and reach with my pinky so I can almost feel my rib cage kind of pulling away from my pelvis. I also want to avoid my knee shooting in towards my big toe. I want to spin out or externally rotate that front thigh so it tracks with my toes. And I always give a check. Not a big deal to just take a peek. Make sure the knee is tracking over the toes and reach. On your exhale, spin the arms back down. You can either take your vinyasa, which is that chaturanga we worked on, or if you're tired, listen to your body, downward dog. I'm starting to get tired. This is a basic flow, really. Left side up, inhale. Step it in. Crescent lunge, pressing down, pulling back, belly back, inhale. Soften your face. Soften your breath, even though you're working hard. Breath in to expand. Exhale. Lace the fingers. Maybe the opposite. So if my right index was on top last time when I laced, maybe I'll put the left this time, working both sides of the body and just creating some awareness as to where we need a little bit more work or just to balance things out a little bit more. Exhale as I release. Spin the back heel down. Heel toe, lining up heel to arch, reaching with that left arm. And again, relaxing the shoulders. Pushing out through the outer part of my back foot. And exhale. Stepping back. Maybe one more flow. Setting up first. Inhale. Beautiful. Come back down to the knees. We're going to come on your back. Little back bend, bridge. So find the comfort again of just taking a moment to take a breath. It may feel like a lot of work there. Remember, just take the options that feel good. Anytime you need to take a pause in a pose, take a rest, definitely do so. I'm just setting myself up so that I can just gently skim my heels with my fingertips. Okay, again, drawing some awareness to the waist by feeling the lengthening of my tailbone towards the front of my mat. I'm walking my shoulder blades down a bit. Again, creating that space here. And I'm just going to lift up on my inhale, just pressing down gently through the feet. And imagine my front hip bones. Even take a touch of the front hip bones if you want to, just to see or imagine them going straight up or shooting straight up towards the ceiling. Feel a gentle lengthening and space in the back of the neck. And I just kind of feel my chest rolling towards my chin. But in the same note, I'm not taking my chin towards my chest. I'm just softening around the neck and shoulders. Additionally, here, I'm softening in the glutes. So there is some support there. You are going to feel that, that tension or tightening of the muscles, but I'm not over clenching to push up. I'm just getting that support from the waist and in the core. More so pressing down through the feet, feeling a lot in the thighs and my hamstrings, so a lot of good strength work there. And then as I slowly come down on a breath out, I'm just putting one vertebrae at a time, or that's what I like to think I'm doing as I come down slow. And we can come back to almost where we started again and just feel the difference now in our supine twist. So taking both knees off to the side, off to the right side. But maybe this time I'll just take my arms back all the way as a little variation. If that's too much for the shoulders, by all means, keep the hands almost like an A-frame, palms facing up. Take your breath. Come back to, if you've forgotten, that expansion in the ribs and that softening. If you like to lengthen the arms and keep it, by all means. Support the waist by drawing in or hugging in around the belly. Draw the knees up on a breath in. On your exhale, other side. And just allow everything to feel soft. The breath, the hands, the space between your brows and your face. Even the eyelids. Inhale, knees come back up. If the arms are back, just take one arm forward at a time. Take the legs forward and take them out. So you can either sit up here for your Shavasana by just laying the legs fully out, or if you really like that opening that we did at the beginning with the blanket, then by all means, just safely bend the knees again, turn to the side, find where you threw your blanket, like I did. Take a quick roll, and maybe just find a different spot. So we were right under the shoulder blades when we started, maybe just a little bit lower down the mid-spine, just slightly lower, just to access another area. Take the shoulders back, just allow them to melt back behind you. Take the legs out. Focus on the new strength that you've created or started a foundation for in the legs. A decrease of tension in the neck, the chest, and shoulders. All of these things that we did today that help to offset our potentially poor postures during the day. So feel free to stay with the blanket or remove it if you prefer, just to be on your mat. And to also stay in your Shavasana as long as you like. Just keeping the eyes closed if that feels good for you. If that's been enough and you feel invigorated and are ready to come out and start your day, then enjoy. Namaste.